Harrison Merrill. Glenn is back there, Pete's daughter. She asked me to do this, and Pete did. Stuart, I'm like you. I have the honor of being a former athlete, coached by one of the most extraordinary people I've met in my life. Pete Higgins' accomplishments are set out in the resume. 56 years at one school as head coach. Thousands of swimmers. 41 state championships. 140 All-Americans. But that's not what I want to talk to you about in introducing Pete. And in speaking of Pete, I'm really talking to all of you that I'm hearing about today at these award ceremonies. And that is, as an athlete, what do you get from your coach? There are 4 things you can do in life that can transform the life of others. One is being a teacher, where you can inspire the students to learn. The second is a doctor, where you save people's lives. The third are the preachers, and they make sure you have eternal life. And the fourth, for those of us like Stuart and myself, are the coaches that can transform your life. All of you in the room that I'm hearing about today have transformed lives. And that's what I want to talk to you about Pete and about you. The things that you teach us, the work ethic, the coaching, the mentoring, the setting out of what character is all about is the most magnificent thing that anyone can give to anyone else. And that's what Pete Higgins has done for years at Westminster. Like the others, from Pete, and the thing I've loved about him ever since he became our coach, and I was one of his first swimmers at Westminster, was he cared as much about the swimmer who was the lowest on the totem pole in terms of ability as he did of those who were the highest and the best performers. Of course, he still tells the same jokes he told 56 years ago, and we'll probably hear at least one of them tonight. But the thing about Pete, and the thing that makes me so proud to be able to present him tonight for what I think is the ultimate award, which is the Hall of Fame, no matter what sport you're going into, there's nothing higher than achieving membership in the Hall of Fame. But he's been in the Hall of Fame for his athletes, for everyone he's ever coached, because he's taught us character, he's taught us heart, he's taught us to have a sense of humor, and he never forgets us. And I want to tell you one quick story. 16 years ago, I'm in real estate, a lawyer. We come up and we go down. We never quit. But I was in one of my down times, but they were getting ready to build a pool at Westminster. And I came in and I said, well, I don't have any money now, but if you want me to be the lead gift, I'm going to have some money soon. I said, I'd like to be the lead gift for the pool, but there's one condition. And they said, well, what's that condition? I said, it has to be named for Pete Higgins. And the natatorium from my parents, who took me to every swim meet, bless them, to every practice. But the pool has to be named for Pete Higgins. And so the development director, a young man named Peter Rooney, said, well, we can't do that. And I said, well, why not? He said, because we can't name a facility at this school for someone who's still coaching or teaching. And I said, okay. And then there was a pregnant silence. And then he said, are you still going to be the lead gift? I said, no. I said, not unless you name the pool for Pete Higgins. He said, let me get back to you. So 2.5 months later, he called me in and he said, we are not going to change our rules and name a facility for a coach or a faculty member who's still here, unless they've coached for 40 years in swimming and won 25 state championships. Now it's 41 state championships, it's 140 All-Americans, it's a man who has character and taught character. It's my pleasure to present Pete Higgins.
I guess all I can do is say thank you, Harrison. He graduated holding 5 national high school records as a senior at Westminster. Went to the university and made some good coaches out of the coaches up at UNC for the next 4 years. I don't want to take a lot of your time, but I want to tell you 2 basic stories. I grew up in a family of coaching and sports and athletics. My father coached football and track and field for 40 years. Before Steve Spurrier showed up at the University of Florida, my dad had the best win-loss record any coach in the history of the University of Florida. Went 6 years without losing a dual track meet. So I've been around sports and athletics all my life. I grew up in Tampa, Florida, and I'm living up here now in Atlanta in Yankee land, where the white stuff comes down periodically in the wintertime, and haven't looked back. Westminster has been a blessing to me. It's been just, I can't even describe it. I'd like to tell you something about my first year of official coaching, and that was at Plant High School in Tampa, Florida. Large public school. I taught 5 classes of driver's education and came in there with a reputation as being a competitive swimmer and a swimming coach, and was assigned football team. And I want to talk about football. I think this is back in the days. This is the 56, 57 school year. See, I'm 82 years old, probably the oldest person in this room right now, if you really check it out. Anybody over 82 in here? 2, 3, 4. She's still voting. The jury's still out. Hands going up and down. So I've been around the block a couple of times and had a lot of experiences. And I got the job coaching football. And this is before all of these inventions, computer. I tried to oversimplify everything. We had 4 plays. Actually, we had 8. We mirrored the same 4. We went right and left. We never huddled offensively the whole year. We just line up on the ball, the quarterback come up under center, right 2 on 2, ready, hut, hut, and away we'd go. Had a standing rule in my QB, you gain 4 yards or more, run the same play, make them stop it. Our high water mark for the year was 12 consecutive same plays, just walking it down the field. 12th play, we gained 1.5 yards. We had to show our opposition some of our versatility and run one of our other 3 plays. See, football is just 6 things: run, throw, catch, block, tackle, kick. That's all it is. We've got a football program. In fact, we won the state championships here at Westminster Schools this year. Dadgum football book is about, I'd say, 6-7 inches thick. You got to be in the National Honor Society just to get through the table of contents. Had a standing rule on my quarterback, you gained 4 yards or more. Run the same play. And it seemed to work. We had a pretty good year. We were undefeated and unscored on. And they thought I was the second coming. He said, "Coach, can you walk on that water too?" I mean, what in the world have we got here? Now, that's one of my early coaching careers. I want you to participate a little bit now. About 1.5 years ago, I tried to reinvent myself. And I describe myself as somewhat of a maverick when it comes to teaching and coaching. And I don't say that to brag and say that I'm doing it right and the rest of the world's doing it wrong. I just do it differently. and it seems to bring some pretty good results. We've had 4 Olympians. I coached the first high schooler to ever break 50 flat and 100 freestyle. It's, been a lot of fun, and I've had a lot of experiences. As a sophomore in college at the University of North Carolina, I had polio in 1952. We dedicated Memorial Hospital on September the 2nd. I was admitted on the 14th. The staff, the doctors, the nurses, everybody in the hospital didn't know their way around this gigantic building. And they'd say, go down to Mr. Higgins' room down there. It's down this hallway. And they'd open up the door and, oh, that's the broom closet. That's not it. We'll go to the next door. For the first 3 days I was in the hospital, I could bring my right index finger to my thumb and open and close my eyelids. And that was the movement I had in my body. And I'm lying there in a sea of sweat and perspiration. When my fever broke, took me down to PT and tried to test all the muscles and everything. I don't have much calf muscle in my right leg. This was 3 years before Dr. Salk did his thing in '55. So I've been around the block, and I've seen a lot of ups and a lot of downs. A year and a half ago, I decided I'm going to be a changer of habits. And I think as I look at every human being, I see a collage or a conglomeration of habits. Virtually 99+% of them are good habits, but we all have some bad habits, and habits are in different levels of importance. It's a good habit to have if you're driving a car in Atlanta, Georgia, stay on the right side of the street. If you take that car and drive it over in Australia or in jolly old London town and you're on the right side of the street, you're either going to be dead in 30 seconds or you're going to kill somebody else. You better get over on the left side of the street. It's a bad habit to have there. But habits are what our lives are all about. And we can't unlearn a habit. The only way we can get rid of a habit is by not using it. I liken them to the flowers outside. If you don't water them and fertilize them, they're going to dry up and die. If you don't use a habit, it's going to die. And we had a combined awards banquet. All of you have been to thousands of these things. Last year at our school, combination of the junior high and high schoolers. And the auditorium was filled up about halfway. We probably had 600, 700, 800 people in there. And between sets of parents and sets of grandparents and old Uncle George and Aunt Susie there. And I went into my harangue and I said, well, this is Pete Higgins' coming out party. Uh-oh. You're one of the... How did you get a job here at Westminster teaching and coaching my kid? Because of the connotation of that phrase right there that I used. So right away I had everybody's attention. And I said, I want everybody to clasp your hands. Go ahead and play the game with me. Clasp your hands. Everybody got them clasped? Now, how many of you have your left thumb on top? Raise a hand. Left thumb on top. About 50%. I'm going to put my comedian's hat on now and suggest that everybody didn't have their hand up in the air, had your right thumb on top, since you only got 2 thumbs. Would I be correct in that? You know. Now, I want you to change your grip. And if you had your left thumb on top, change your grip and put your right thumb on top, or vice versa. Now, when you're in the new mode, it's spooky as heck. It's just wrong. It just doesn't feel right. And this is a lifetime habit. This is a Mickey Mouse habit. It doesn't make 10 damn cents worth of difference whether your left's on top or your right's on top. It's just a habit. But I think we in this country are in deep, deep yogurt because we are not, with our own offspring, drilling into them right, wrong, good, bad, do this, don't do that. You got a 16-year-old girl or boy getting ready to get a driver's license, operate an automobile. And you say, hey, good luck with your test today. You go in and get another cup of coffee. And we think we've helped that youngster out preparing him or herself for a driving test. I don't believe so. We're just missing the boat. And we don't spend enough time with our own offspring intellectualizing and giving them a good, strong mental understanding of right and wrong, good and bad. And those of us in our business, working with young people day in and day out, morning, noon, and night, all year long, don't spend enough time with the young people that we're working with enforcing right, wrong, good, and bad. We just let them kind of play around with it. And it's going to bite us. It is really going to bite us as a civilization. And here we are in the United States of America, the best place in the world to live on the face of this globe, the safest, the most economically advantaged place in the world. And we got palookas trying to figure out how to be our next president. And I don't know if many of you have been following these two national conventions, but that's the biggest comedy errors I've ever been associated with in my life. And it looks like the Don is going to be our next president. And I don't want to vote for him. I want to take him to the barbershop and get a haircut. And if he doesn't win it, it's going to be Hillary. And all we're doing is electing Bill for his third term there and get over the pillow talk there. So we're in trouble. We are absolutely in trouble big time. And it's going to tear us up if we don't change what we're teaching these young people and how we're teaching them. And I enjoy being around people doing things they've never done before. And furthermore, 99% of them never thought they could do. These kids are all dumb as a sack of rocks. And somebody's got to lead them out of the wilderness and get them shaped up and tell them what it's all about and send them on their productive lives. Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to be here and spend a little time with you.